Right, so I was speaking for about a minute now, without noticing that my mic doesn't work. So, hello again, this is RAGL speaking, and today we're going to continue our review of the upcoming Red Alert Global League Season 6 maps. Six maps have been added to the map pool, making it a total of 10 maps already, and still up to 2 maps may be picked by RAGL participants in a public vote that is going on in a relevant thread on openra.net forums. So if you think that we have missed something interesting, or that you are missing something interesting not yet added to the map pool, then feel free to get in and voice your suggestions to us, so we might add them up basically to the map pool. Speaking about that, today I'm planning to showcast 6 of those maps that I've told you we have picked, and those are Stanitsa, Badger Hills, Forgotten Plains, Map J, Snakes and Ladders, and Fallout. So some of those you might have already known from Season 5, namely Stanitsa and Badger Hills. 2 of these maps are highly placed maps from Map Design Contest competitive category. Not the winners, but somewhere there. And what's probably more important is that we considered it more playable and more interesting, adding to the diversity of the map pool. So those are Forgotten Plains and Map J. Also, one map made by me, Snakes and Ladders, which I considered adding to the map design contest, but then I just posted it before that, not to introduce any problems or any concerns, suspicions from other people regarding me being the organizer of the public design contest and being at the same time a contestant on the prize. So I just decided to miss the contest and just to post the map whatever as is, without any possibilities to win anything. Still, I think map got quite a positive feedback, both around the community and on the resource center. You might see that it got something about 75, I think, place, which is quite a lot considering it's oh, now it's 80, so it's quite a lot considering it's been there for 3 months and it's not in the official map pool. So that's that. And yeah, I thought about slightly tweaking it, but then probably it will go in the pool as is, but there's still time to change things. And the last map from the official pool, from the official pick of the map pool, is Fallout, made by Blackened, which is kind of a continuation of his map Trapped, which was played in Season 5, but with a lot more stuff in it. And there is also a place for a lot of cameos or Easter eggs, like any way you wanna call it. I think it's 13 or 14 of them, and you can try yourself at finding all the Easter eggs that map has without checking the relevant YAML file, because it will then become quite obvious what those Easter eggs are. Without further ado then, I think I will give it a go and run the first game, or maybe first two, let's see, just on the maps that are more or less known for people around. So, the first map is Stanitsa, and let's go.
Battle control initialized.
Stanitsa was made by Doomsday.
Construction complete.
And I forgot how to play this game exactly. Stanitsa was made by Doomsday in his attempt to get the best competitive map that is also a small one. He made somewhat like 5 or 6 maps, all sizing up to 75 to 75.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
And probably
Unit ready.
this one came
Unit ready.
the closest
Unit ready.
to what he wanted to achieve,
Unit ready.
and it indeed provided
Unit ready. Primary buildings. Unit ready.
a nice playable setup,
Unit ready. New construction. Unit ready.
and also got a lot of interesting matches in RAGL Season 5.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
I remember
Unit ready.
losing some games on it,
Unit ready.
to my shame,
Structure captured.
even quite interesting ones. So what this map has is
Construction complete.
it has 2+1 mines on its main for each player, which is more or less standard these days, and also it has 2 expansions with double mines each for each player again.
Structure captured.
Which again more or less standard. What makes this map standing out somewhat is probably its size, of course,
Building.
because it's quite small, so the spawn to spawn distance is rather small too. It doesn't have a lot of space for maneuver
Construction complete.
around.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Unit lost. Unit primary selected. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready.
So, Also, it has 2 oil derricks, which I forgot to mention, and 2 hospitals for each player.
Construction complete. Unit construction options. Building. Building. Primary building construction complete. Building. 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 New construction options. Yes, sir. Building. 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 Construction complete. Primary building selected. Unit ready. Construction unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Primary building ready. Selected. Unit ready. Ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit cancel. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Primary building selected. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction complete. Low power. Our base is under attack. Unit ready. Prepared. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction unit ready. Unit ready. Cancel. Build. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction ready. Construction ready. Ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit primary building selected. Construction training. Construction complete. Unit ready. Silos needed. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit primary building selected. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Silos ready. Unit ready. Construction ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Primary building. Primary building selected. Unit ready. Unit ready. Silos needed. Construction.
Alright, sorry for radio silence, was kinda busy for a second. Also missed most of my game here.
Unit ready.
And quite likely I stand like a 0 chance against Lemon here. He's quite a formidable player. Sadly not participating in any kind of tournaments around.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction unit ready. Unit
Occasionally has quite good games.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
And that's
Lost. Unit lost.
I can possibly crush.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Construction ready. Lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Lost. Unit ready.
Interestingly enough,
Unit ready. Lost. Construction
I still have a chance
ready.
in this game.
Unit
Or at least I still haven't been
Unit ready.
completely and
Unit
utterly
ready.
destroyed.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Is under attack. Unit lost. Construction. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit lost. Lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Build structure ready. Complete. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Cancel. Cancel. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready.
Regarding the map description,
Ready and waiting.
was
At once.
pretty much it.
Construction complete.
Nothing really
Unit
to
ready.
add here.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready. Cannot unit ready. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Waiting
Unit
for
ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Comrade.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit
As you
ready.
wish.
Unit lost.
Of course.
Unit ready. Unit construction complete.
At once.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Cancel. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Very well.
Unit ready.
Agreed.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit construction complete. Unit ready. 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 Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit lost.
Ready and
Unit
waiting.
lost. Ready. Primary building selected. Primary building selected. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Prepared.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready.
As you wish. At once. Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Unit 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 ready. Lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Lost. Prepared. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
As you wish.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Ready.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Insufficient funds.
Reporting. Agreed.
This game probably was
Unit
not
ready.
that fun,
Unit lost. Unit
since I'm still showing myself and you guys that I'm not that good when I'm trying to speak on stream.
Yes, sir.
Lost.
Very well. Reporting. Of course. Ready
Right.
Lost.
There is also a missile salad.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Insufficient funds.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
So that should probably be it for the showing of this map.
Unit lost. Mission failed.
It might be considered somewhat straightforward, but still there are two possible routes for expansion, top and bottom. Also you can play lots of tricks on this map, like expanding straight away for the farthest expansion. So what you have at the beginning is you have 3 possible expansion spots. For me it was this one, and this one. And then you also have a possibility to straight away go for a quick radiodome for artilleries and V2s for a nice V2 rush, which is also quite viable on this map, especially if your opponent doesn't pay attention to it and doesn't expect you to attack his base. And that's probably about it. Let's go for the next one.
Battle control terminated.
And the next one is Major Hills, which I want to try and not play by myself. No bug. That's one of fellow RAGL players, and of course I expect Bug to sign, or rather to confirm his participation in this season. Yeah, I don't know whether Bug is listening or not. But three. Okay. If that's for download, then it's no problem. So, Major Hills. Major Hills is interesting in that way that um, it doesn't have any oils on it, and for that matter, any other capturable structures. It developed quite drastically from revision to revision, because previously it had several oils. It also had two communication centers in the middle, as far as I remember, and probably that was either 2 or 4 oils. Top and bottom corners were completely different. I mean, top right and bottom left. But over the course of, I think it was also during the Lord Driver's Fortes tournament, or rather before that, during his daily marathon streams about mapping. About yeah, so it developed quite drastically, and it's now version 2.1, I think, so that was something like 10 or 11 revisions, because Eskimo made it and like 1.9 and so forth. Yeah, so you might get the idea how much has been changed on this map to make it playable, and in the end it was made playable and also quite interesting. So it's on the rich side of eco, should say. It's also not that small either, so it's big and rich. It has, I think, 1, 2, 5, 6, 8 mines. Per player, making it 16 overall. And I think we'll just tell players to stay here. Hopefully that's not a total newbie.
Battle control initialized.
But at least I will be able to talk about this map more. So again, about this map. While it's rather big and it doesn't have oils, recently, or well, not exactly recently, but the latest meta on this map was to try and play the straight war factory first game, probably building a canal in the process and having 1 or 2 docks, like Zuli is doing now, but Zuli is also building, I think, grenadiers, and he has built a barracks, which is also playable. But what I'm saying is that War Factor first works on this map just because to build several grenadiers and move them around the map takes almost the same time it takes to build you a refinery, power plant, and war factory, and then go to barracks. So you have just enough time to rush war factory first and still be able to defend against tier 1, or when someone might call it tier 0 rushes, like grenadiers rush here. Well, it's still quite risky, but if you make it work, it might be worth trying. Okay, well, I'm speaking, I think. At least this one, this player, more or less knows what he is doing. Depending on, yeah, he decided to sell his power plant. I don't know whether that was viable, because that doesn't give you any substantial money, but he might have survived that. Now he's required to sell his refinery to not go low power. Now he's on one power plant, which is also not that good for him. So about this map and its possibilities, as you can see, each player has double mine natural, nature expansion that most of players go to first, just because it's the closest one and it's the richest one also on the map. But then after that there is a plethora of possibilities to go to, for example, this double mine expansion or this double mine expansion or straight into the middle. The thing that makes this map interesting and more or less balanced is that there are 16 mines, and even if you lose the middle ones, that will still mean you are on 7 mines against 9. So yeah, 7 mines against 9. So that's not balanced, but still viable for you to get back from. Because, for example, on 14 mines or on 12 mines, if you lose 1 mine to the enemy, you are going on something like 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, and that's more of a problem. Whereas 7 mines is something more or less balanced, not balanced enough to sustain 7 barracks production and 1 or 2 war factories production. Not that I know the exact numbers for it, but something about it. So by losing center, or for example losing both sides, which is less feasible on this map but still possible, you still have a lot of possibilities to attack your opponent on multiple sides and get back into the game. And we have seen here an example of a totally unsuccessful flamer drop, which was kinda expected from Zuli. First, because I think, if I remember it correctly, Zuli always does flamer drops, and then he was also scouted for flamers, so this new player was prepared for that. And now we see how greedy newbie is on his expansions. While on -7 there is only a first expansion by Zuli on his natural, and newbie has already taken his natural, has taken double mine one, and is now expanding into the middle and has an army on the right side. So even if that flamer drop was any successful, for example destroying a war factory, well, it might have been prevented another MCV from coming, but still newbie plays a very good game here, because his opponent is somewhat passive in terms of map control and scouting. Newbie just got the whole map for himself, which, yeah, now he is also moving his natural MCV to the remaining double mine or patch expansion. And there is also some kind of base push. Yeah, he'd better have a turret, right? So I don't know, that should be a quite drastic difference in assets, which is already 13k. Let's see how it goes. He nicely blocks his opponent's mining, which is a cliff turret or cliff Tesla, both viable and very powerful options to attack your opponent's eco, because it is much harder to get that turret or Tesla if it's behind the cliff, because your forces can't approach it directly and need to go around. And then it also might be a lone turret, and then your MCV might go elsewhere, so that's just very annoying, especially on a bear expansion where you don't have an army. What newbie is doing here is pressing on both fronts, keeping his advantage. Yeah, maybe Zuli is playing horrible, but newbie is also playing good. Oh, expectedly floating just because he has so much ore trucks on so much rich ore around, and he's trying to keep up with production. My barracks going in 6-1. I think he would be good just going on tier 1, not paying attention to those V2s, not paying attention to Yaks either. Well, those double MCVs. That's if you wanna do a base push, well, you base push, you just ride an MCV with your MCV. That's what it is. Well, and by this time I think newbie just can go in with a barf move, and I think that should be enough for him to win. He'll lose 1 or 2 tanks just approaching this Tesla coil, because he probably needed to go infantry first, but there's just not enough choose for Zuli, and as you can see there is 50% more assets, and those are mostly battle assets for newbie. And now the 5-minute onslaught goes to its logical conclusion. Yeah, that was a nice game by newbie. Don't know. I don't know whether it's a noob or not, or just a smurf, but he didn't play like a noob, that's for sure.
Battle control terminated.
So that was Badger Hills for you. And now we go into Uncharted Waters, the newer maps. And this one is also a map by Eskimo, like Badger Hills, but it's on even higher eco than Badger Hills, because it has 18 mines and 4 oils on it, which is quite a lot, if you ask me. Well, probably the reason for that might be that top and bottom two mine patches are not that easy to access because they're surrounded with a lot of trees around, and you can't place a direct refinery inside them. Also, that makes your expansion quite open to all sides. But then if you make it work, you can have something like 6 mines expansion or something, just because they are those mines in top left and bottom right corners are situated on a somewhat MCV construction radius range from another, or maybe 2 radiuses of that. So something like 25 cells between them. So if you manage to do some refineries, you can place MCV them in the middle and expand into every site and grab them with a single MCV, but at the time you won't be able to fully protect your refineries with defenses. That's still possible. And also on this map you have 4 mines, 4 oil derricks, as I've said. So that makes it quite rich and also quite open. But surprisingly it's something like 9 by 9 cells smaller than Badger Hills. But due to those expansion possibilities I mentioned, it feels bigger, I think. Well, maybe just for me, but still. Now we just need to wait for some players to join. I don't know whether that's playing here or not. Hopefully yes. Maybe he'll join us. Today I saw Barf previously, so probably he's around somewhere. Also there is Lemon. Also yellow. As you can see, a known open rock contributor and bug hunter. Here are badges to have. Yeah, well, at least that counterattack was my last chance to get back into the game. And expectedly that failed. So let's see whether this guy uh, join in and play against Lemon.
Battle control initialized.
Well, I think we will have another game on this map. Another player. Hopefully, this guy. Well, we can still see, but moving MCVs on your get-go is not a good sign right away. So about this map, as you can see, there is only a small spot somewhere here to place refineries, so, and not at all viable against the fort on the top. And the same is on the bottom, so you can only place your expansion somewhere here, but get 3 mines in the process. But with decent medium distance mining or something. So instead, you usually go for this one as your natural. So as I was saying about this map being quite rich on mines, which is true. Some of those mines are not that optimal, top and bottom ones, and at the same time the middle ones have just a small number of starting ore and will quickly drain because that's something like 2k here or 1.5k maybe, which doesn't even cover a refinery being built, because the refinery costs 1.4k. But in the long run, it will just resort to getting money from an empty mine. In the long run, the more you have, of course, is the better. So if you manage to, yeah, that was an inch snipe. If you manage to get more of this map than your opponent, then in the long run you're good. But speaking of this, you also have those pathways, and also these pathways on left and right. So that's an interesting choice of moving up your construction yard. Probably going for a third refinery here. But then Lemon, decided not to defend his upper side at all. That might be viable because of oil derricks, which were pointed as by some players as somewhat as scout building on this map, because it just sees anything that goes on those top and bottom pathways, pass. And the only way you can go there unnoticed is to destroy the loader beforehand. But Eskimo said that it's not a problem and it's more or less planned by him. Oh, that's a brutal way to attack unsuspecting opponent here. And that was a, I don't know, if that was a perfect crush, then I can't think of anything more perfect than that. It basically got something like 10 rifles in one go. So, not that his opponent played especially good, but Levan got also lucky crashes for himself. So let's give some courtesy to his opponent. Yeah, an MCV cap. That was just something of a cherry on top. So I think we'll go on with revisiting other maps, and then if I have time we'll go to Forgotten Plains again, because it was not a proper showcasting. And sorry guys, it's not a team map here. Very changed setup here. So that was Forgotten Plains, and now we go to Map J by Super Newbie, or Super Newbie, or whatever his name is, because it's different on every other map. It also has something around the same size as Forgotten Plains. And what's more important, it also has 18 mines on it, but it doesn't have oils. So it might have some interesting developments going on this map. Rushing in with grenadiers is a bit more viable than on what it was, Badger Hills. So I don't think straight direct war factory is any playable on this map, but we might see something interesting invented by players for this map. How to win 1v1 in 5, I think it's minutes, right? And probably that.
Battle control initialized.
Well, one of required requirements to win a 1v1 in 5 minutes is also a suitable opponent for you. so what we have here is the same newbie player we saw earlier against Zuli, and probably it's Widow with his morphine again. But if in last game newbie had Zuli as his opponent, I would say that Widow should go a little bit better. Saying that, I might take those words back, just because he just lost a power plant. At least he got quick thinking, building a second one and selling refinery, and that's a wrong move by newbie, because he saw barracks, and what he should have done is he should have attacked barracks with his grenadiers, because that could have won him the game, because no defenses for Widow. But instead he opted for a refinery and just wasted some time. Well, at least his Grand Rush succeeded somewhat, and required Widow to switch to War Factory instead of standard double ref build. Yeah, fake newbie. Well, all newbies are fakes until proven so. So let's see what else. I haven't paid attention what that is. Is that a pack of Grenadiers again? Yeah, that's a pack of Grenadiers. Well, French players are known for cheesy drops and rushes, proven several times by Frenzy, Zuli, in a lot of games, and that's a nice crush here. And newbie still has his grenadiers. I think he needs to unpack them somewhere and try to raise another power plant. Yeah, I think he's doing exactly that. Probably getting some more crushes, and now he's just wasting a lot of time here. Widow, I mean, with moving his MCV elsewhere. I don't know, that should have been done by him, but he's probably just pissed by his opponent. And we have a nice soundtrack from Fear Factory on Carmageddon. So now that time for cheesy drops has ended in this game, we shall see who the actual good player is in this game, and Widow will have to defend his dignity. Dignity? Yeah, well, that's the right word for him. So by doing so much in early game, yeah, well, now it's a Flamer Rush, but now Widow, or well, I'll just call him Widow. Hopefully it's Widow. Widow has basically two bases instead of one, and he will probably unpack his MCV somewhere around here. Unfortunately lost a lot of infantry on the left. And now we'll see whether that Flamer drop works. Probably not, just because there is a Tesla, which will quickly demolish that Flamer drop. Yeah, and that was a very expensive Flamer drop, worth 2.35k. So that tipped scales a bit in Widow's favor back. And now Widow is doing exactly the same thing that Newbie did to Zuli on that Badger Hills game. He's strangling him with MCVs around. Yeah, and I agree that we don't need to keep up with his infantry production, and he's having a tough time here with keeping up his defenses in place, because that's a decent size army, especially having 3 heavy tanks, and now base push to boot, so that might be what will actually lose Widow's game. Yeah, here are the barracks, but that's probably too late. And I don't know why Widow places beacons all around, probably just because of a custom keyboard setup, and he's frantically bashing all the keys he has around on the keyboard. Tesla, yeah, it more or less depends on what you are having against you. Also, hello, oops. Oh, having barracks and walls and all that stuff around your Tesla is well and good, but usually you just don't have time or production queue to do all that, because most of the time you just have defenses infinitely queued up, and you just build and build and build stuff. And and you can't insert anything into a queue, which is one of the things requested a lot. Well, depending on position, of course, because cliff Teslas are used to a great extent, like a single Tesla behind a cliff, behind a expansion, is a thorn in your ass when you expand blindly and then build a refinery and then realize that there is a Tesla and you don't even know whether there is a base behind it or not. Sometimes even an openly placed Tesla is enough to prevent any kind of expansions. Sorry, backtrack. I don't know if Pain is listening, but yeah, I have seen that Amco did an update on his replay parser. Now his replay parser also scans for production macros, detects them. So we'll need to test that and refine that, but as far as I know, it already works okay and provides us with enough technical tools to detect all kinds of foul play with production macros used by external tools that we discourage from players to discourage them from using. So I think I'll yeah, single clicks. Well, you do it usual way, like everyone does. How about APM? 30. 30 is a decent way. I don't know, probably you waste quite a lot of time ordering all that stuff just with single mouse clicks. Because what's time dilation by your mouse? Something like 5, 10 milliseconds, 12 milliseconds probably, or 20. That's up to 500 APM, 50 APM. Can count, yeah, 50. So 20 milliseconds, it was 50 APM. Actions per minute. That equals 50 actions per second. I don't know. probably that will register as a lot, but Pain, if you can provide us with some replays, both with macros and without macros, so that the tool can be tested, then we might have a look and check whether you actually using macros according to that tool or not. And going back into the game, we have Widow with more or less a decent comeback into this game. I think if he's... no. Oh, that was a very... very lucky. Parabombing here. And also Widow moved just under the bombs there. So help newbie a bit to hold the status quo. And back into the game, we need to check the economy, check the assets. Maybe he's still better on assets here. He's also on radar tech, while I see that Video has lost his radar dome. But both players are floating very hard. Maybe Widow floating slightly less, but by minute 17 should be more than 2 barracks, definitely. Barracks on a single war factory. But both players are slacking on their production heavily in this game. Just grabbing resources all around. And that was a nice lesson. Hopefully another one. Another one will be enough to defend against all this, especially with 2 heavy tanks. Oh, some yaks. And you don't ever send your yaks into flat trucks. Ever. Even if you have 10 yaks against 2 or 3 flags. Yeah, he might have. But still, that was a nice attack, and he should have destroyed that airfield and moved upwards. Then all the bombs would have missed. Instead, he moved south. Especially if you... I'm talking about that attack that he was parabombed. So now it goes to some base pushing by both players. And I think Widow will... Well, nothing to think about here. Widow will definitely win this one. Because there is no base for newbie here. And here grenadiers, I think. Because I definitely heard a grenadier throwing grenades. That might be an indicator of somewhat of a newbiness by newbie, building grenadiers past minute 5. The game is still going on, interestingly enough. Players still are on 1, 2 barracks and 2 barracks both. But at least Widow has a horrendous economy while Newbie has 10k, but is not using any of them, just hoarding money instead of building a lot of units. So this is basically the stage at which that separates newbies from skillful players, the way you are scaling. Because newbie scales bad, and that means he's underproducing stuff, even though that he has quite a number of yaks around. But Widow already switched to B2 flag combo, so yaks no longer work. And again, that's double power bombing by both players. Both somewhat equally effective. I think newbie seriously needs to switch to heavy tanks, something, or maybe going tier 3 and build some nuke trucks. Probably he's out of money by this time. Yeah, he doesn't gather from 2 of his possible mines around, and still tries to make his way with small forces. Yeah, I know. There are several war fields for Widow as well, but at least Widow has 8 harvesters going around. Yeah, this one is not mined either. Newbie is probably waiting for a close para bombing from the top side. Will he be able to push through that? Possibly, just because Widow flagged a bit on his defenses. Top side after he lost some to para bombing. Now V2's come and play, and if Video used his yaks, then he could have managed. Oh, right, there is another thing going on. Not going. Well, at least both players have a lot of yaks. There is base trade again on top side, coupled with a lot of yaks. Actually, as Widow has so much yaks, he could have sniped a lot of buildings in Newbie's backyard bases, and he knows about those. A lot of power plants to go through, radar dome, service depot, war factory. Yeah, and that's as listen to me. Nice MCV to get. And Yubi totally needs to relocate all his forces to to the middle of the map, because that's just going nowhere. Hopefully that's what he realized. Probably not. He just does it one-sided. He tries to go this way, this way, this way, and that doesn't work, and he doesn't adapt to the situation at hand. He needs to go around that. And of course, Widow and his Yak Force can now shred a lot. He might have destroyed at some side. That was a wrong target. He should have attacked advanced power plants instead, and then go for attack center attack. But maybe that was a lucky choice after all, just because those flags. And you know what, still Widow is on 3 barracks. And Yubi still floats a hell of a money. 11 key. He probably produced some refineries. Now he's building a second war factory, which is good for him. I don't know whether he finally opts to go other way, maybe attack this way. Widow finally got his bottom 4 patches. What he doesn't know is those are drops from before still left there. So he probably needs something of Tesla coil here, maybe, or some. What? A drop. Distracting. This time I would have switched to some heavy tanks if I were Widow, because Yaks, Flags, that's all cannon fodder for heavy tanks, or maybe Mammoth tanks even. Because 3 or 4 Mammoth tanks would be enough to just grind through of this top side, coupled with this force, or with this kind of Yak force even. Especially because Newbie is lacking on his defenses and lacking on his anything, because he's trying to force his way on this ore patch, which of course is not that working for him. Another go. Yeah, that totally sucked for Widow. Oh god, losing 8 Yaks. That was down in the drain. I think it was 8 or something, plus minus 1. And you know what? Newbie actually listened to my stream, and I hope I check in. But Newbie got a Mammoth tank in and building another one, which is a right choice, because there is saying that maybe against Widow that's not exactly a good choice, just because there are a lot of Tesla coils. And while Mammon Tank is beefy, he's just having a lot of shots from a Tesla coil just until he comes in. I wonder whether max level or Widow will go to tier 3 here, because newbie goes for that, builds up his Mammon Tank force, and is also building Missile Sala here. Again, a decently working drop by newbie, and the second one on the back front. So they both judging by ranks. This one destroyed 3 harvesters already, and this one will get 1 or 2. I see, yeah, there's also an iron curtain. Where's a missile sala? I wonder, yeah, here it is. It's placed. Wait. Am I missing something? Ah, right. Choice of Iron Curtain here, I don't know. Maybe? Probably Iron Tanks would have been slightly better for that, just because of the rush capability. But even better would be to build some APCs, 1 or 2, because APCs with this density of a blob would have been massive when Iron Curtains. I think that would have been crushed just about right. Yeah, Widow at this time has another flock of yaks already, even though he doesn't have much of an airfields. But then he doesn't see an approach to his opponent's. Right. That's a nice choice if it makes it, but probably not. Yeah, now it's the time, but there is a second some side. Yeah, that was a nice move from Yubi. That's very annoying to do. And another go. Up. And another go. Yes. 6 yaks. And the MCV is done. Demo truck? Where? Oh, right. Well, it won't be enough. Yeah, but it destroyed the IC. Wow, that was massive. And now Yaks will come in and destroy the atom bomb. Yeah, that's a good play by Widow. If yeah, 3 more Yaks and it's the day where Yaks fall from the sky. At the same time, Yubi is lacking with his Yak play here, definitely. Because currently Newbie doesn't have an Iron Curtain, doesn't have an A-Bomb. Instead, Widow has both. And getting back to map description, I won't agree that it's this kind of play shows that it's a choky map, because there are a lot of opportunities to go on every front. It's just both players decided to confine the whole armies to the top and not using any other options around. Because for newbies there is a whole front here with no defenses at all. And even a force of Yaks can go in and destroy everything Widow has here. The same can be said with the bottom side, which he only realized just now and is clearing down now. The same for Widow. Widow can obviously attack this side because no defenses, and probably push through the middle. Oh, yes. Today Widow is a king of demo trucks. And I think those demo trucks are what will win him the game here. Even those power bombs won't change it. I hope, yeah, Widow has his Yaks, but there is absolutely no armor to protect against that kind of infantry force. No, you need to stay. Yeah. Should have stayed a little while longer. Because could have killed some Yaks as well. Yes, that was an attack to destroy barracks on the top. And now what? The Yak down. Tech center down. 3 more Yak down. And another Yak down. 6 Yaks for a crippled tech center, crippled advanced power plant. And oh, I've missed another new, right? Yeah, well, by this time I think Widow should stop using Yaks whatsoever. Maybe switching to some 2 or 3 mix combos and just picking up small targets. At the same time, I need to emphasize this more probably, that both players need to give up on the top side. Well, but by this time Widow is probably winning the top side. And finally we can see some barracks from newbie. Not using them at all, but at least he has them. By this time both players stopped using new trucks and just hoarding money. And both of them don't build any infantry. I think that Widow is still on, yeah, still on 2 barracks. That's unacceptable, Widow. You know it. So, while Onibi doesn't do anything, Widow can just sit on his ass and wait for his atom bomb to come up. And you can see that Newbie has built Iron Curtain and Missile Silo just at exact same spot that he had them destroyed before. What? That's a new truck? Yes. And now he'll probably lose an MCV. Yep. This time only 3 yards go down. By a trade. 3k plus 2k on an MCV. And another demo truck. Will there be another one? Probably they made a pact that they only use the infantry forces on this side of the map. That will explain things. And at least Newbie started to force his way on the bottom side as well. And you know what? Widow will probably waste a nuke here. Won't destroy a Raider Dome, and at the same time Missile Silo and Iron Curtain will be Iron Curtain. That's a brave heavy tank right here. Yeah, I see. Atom bomb ready. And we'll see where... And that's another demo truck. Just very handy for this army at the bottom. We should have moved his infantry there. Oh. You know, I don't know how to voice a facepalm here, but that's exactly what I'm doing. That's probably what 40 yaks lost just by Widow during this game. Well, by this time I think I would have used an atom bomb somewhere not here, but maybe here on power plants. or somewhere here on refineries just to make newbies' life more difficult. Yeah, that's exactly the thing. And then there are 2 minutes for newbies atom bomb here. Even though he managed to get his way through, but there are actually quite a lot of yaks to be enough to grind through all the rifles he had. Yeah, unfortunately that was not a lucky angle for newbies parabombs. There'll be another nuke track? Not yet. Yeah, there was one. And those were 6 yaks more to be dropped at somewhere in the vicinity of missile silo. One more. Well, that was one lucky yak drop. So let's see, will we? Yeah, those things that was an engineer sent to repair the missile silo? I don't know. Maybe? Oh wow. That lone rocket soldier just one cell outside flame drop. Wait, another nuke truck? I think I'm losing the attention here. So many nuke trucks and fallen yaks all around. And newbies building another missile silo. Well, what's to say here is that Video has a game to lose here. Because he definitely has better traits. Or, well, he's at least on attacking side of things. He just needs to find the right angle to attack. For example, this one. Or this one. Now he got several cells more through newbies forces. And another missile silo just in the same place again. I just don't know how to command this game anymore. Yaks. Oh god. And now he needs to build some site near it. Definitely. But I don't think that would be enough to protect. Yeah, and he built it just in the range of a Tesla coil. So this construction yard goes down. Engineer. Oh, that should have saved it, but more yaks. So that makes it 1.5 construction years for newbie. And we see Widow crawling several cells forward on the top side. So he actually got this ore patch for him, which is not that needed because of a lot of money he already hoarded, but that's one less patch for his enemy. And of course those badgers won't ever reach the destination. Mines? Where? Those were mines here, but I don't see any. Wait, another nuke truck? Oh god. So, as you can see, even that the map is somewhat on a choky side, maybe, it still provides you with a lot of resources to go around. Maybe a bit too much, because when you destroy one thing, your enemy still has too much money to get back from your attack. I don't know, or maybe that's just this game. One thing I can say for sure is that most players are heavily underproducing stuff. At the same time, newbie is not having exactly a healthy economy. And about the ref, I think there was no ref at the bottom. Yeah, more yaks. Yaks for the yak god. As an atom bomb. Scouting for the atom bomb. He just decided to drop it here. I would have placed it slightly higher. Probably here, just to get Soviet Tech Center, MCB, power plants. And instead he didn't even get the MCB. Well, I stand corrected. He does get it. And something else, for that matter. Still losing yaks, but by this time those are just paper planes. He ordered a lot of kamikaze Chinese troops to waste pilots. And another demo truck, maybe top one too. Oh, that's just a lot of mountains. And finally, you will see that moment tank works. Moment tanks work when there are no defenses, but there are a lot of moment tanks for newbies as well here. Hopefully, Widow hasn't forgot about his demo truck here, because it would have been funny. And that mount tank needs to go forward. Demo truck. Oh, and this time Yax worked. As you can see, there are none, but as you can see as well, there is no A-bomb either. And again, one MCV for a newbie. Needs to build another one. Needs to build tech center. Widow will just build it cell by cell until he creeps all the way to newbie's main. And if you want a forward MCV, that's one for you. Even though it will work for some time. And there is another missile cell by newbie. I wonder where will it be built? I guess here. What do you think? And I think you don't see often a forward service depot. Unfortunately, one of my tanks didn't make it to be repaired by a service depot, just being destroyed by a nuke truck. And you know what? There is no server. No, there is a service depot. Well, definitely Widow needs to be slightly more active this game, because as I said 20-30 minutes ago, it was a game to lose for Widow. And I don't know, he will probably win it, but we'll see how long this will take. And if it will take 5 more minutes, then I think I'll going to just drop this game and switch to next one. Yep, general flag truck right here. Let's follow him and his way while he destroys hordes of yaks incoming his way. And you know what? After 1 hour game, Widow is still on 3 barracks. And 3 war factories, but still 3 barracks. At least newbies has more as X. That's wrong angle. Wait, I think I need the general flag truck here. Ah, no, here it is. There's also a vetted moment. And finally, Widow is trying another angle of attack. You don't see that often. Oh, that truck survives. What else to say about this game? Widow needs to produce a lot of defenses to defend this place. Ah, right. Finally, newbie found the weak spot of Widow. And Widow doesn't have any army to defend this place, and no MCV to defend this place, so airfield goes down, Raider Dome surely goes down, and also, oh no, here is MCV. I saw there is none on the top. That was also a nice angle on the missile sala, but unfortunately not right approach there. And while I was talking about that, Widow somehow got the attacking forces. And probably this is the last atom bomb in this game. Now newbie south. Rush. Another strange hotkey by Widow, but finally I think it should be over in a minute or so, because what's the asset count? Twice. But newbie destroyed 100k more. Probably all that 100 is all the yaks that Widow has lost through the course of this game. Well, Everything is completely open by now, so Widow just needs to basically do a barf move here, and it's over. Yes, I should agree with Bane here. Maybe he's waiting for another nuke truck, or he needs that rocket soldier, just an additional one. Let's see the final battle of this game. Hopefully, final battle, especially if this one tank leaves. And he does, and he destroys those liters. Yeah, that should be it. Just because this is the last MCV for newbie, and he doesn't build more. So if this MCV goes down, then it's over. Yeah, surely. It might be some other thing, but Widow should have it in this attack. And don't tell me that MCV goes away. No, that MCV doesn't go away. And no other MCV for newbie. Now we'll just wait 10 minutes for newbie to choose this game. Yeah, that was not a barf move, but that was not a lot of army for Widow either. Well, as you can see, not everyone survives Widow move. Is that a quick music? As it says in the caption, which you probably don't see because you are watching the game, yes, it's Quake music. Not that I actually played Quake 1 a lot, but I played Quake 2 and Quake 3. I don't remember much about music there, but I think it's something different from array music, which everyone plays around. And I would have used Doom music, but that's only MIDI files, which even converted to a proper music doesn't run great. Maybe I should look for some fan-made covers of Doom music to have that as soundtrack for my streams. MCV! Oh, MCV. Wait. Maybe has another MCV. Oh god. This should be forever. I don't know. I don't want to watch this anymore. Let's just call it Widow win and move to the next map. Or maybe a draw. She can win anyway. Yeah, let's say GG in spectators and pretend that this game is over. Especially that UB doesn't have any assets. And that was a bit rude by Lemon. But okay. No, don't send it to cut.
Battle control terminated.
And you know what? I still have 2 maps to cover. Hopefully next one will be much faster. I'll also use this minute as a toilet break. Back. And I think Bane promised me a game. Where's Bane? Yeah, here's Bane. That game's still going on. Yep. I'm still there somehow. I wonder how. Oh, that's quite interesting why I'm still registered as being logged in there. Because for you official bug with server observability should have been fixed. Bye, James. Oh, right. Oh wow, we have Norman here. be another thing entirely for newbie. So hopefully newbie will jump in on. And while we are waiting, well, I can say some words about Snakes and Ladders map, which was planned to be somewhat angular and snaky like you can see with those roads there. And the flavor that I added there was a lot of fences around, which make it somewhat harder to move around with your army on the sides, just because when you move your army on the sides, you can produce sounds by crashing fences with your tanks and APCs and stuff. And that's what I like about fences, that they produce an unexpected and interesting angle on gameplay, voice cues for players. So I like to use them in unexpected places, like some corners of cliffs, for example, when people move their tanks. Hello, Widow. Music, I can switch it a bit like so. And maybe just my mic not placed where it should be. But at the same time, I'm not saying anything useful in particular. So, right. So, should we see newbie playing? No GTK for you. You just ask your opponent to pause the game and you go and pee. And pause, most likely he can. So about the on pause, most likely he can, but then that will be seen in chat logs that opponent unrightfully unpaused the game, so for RAGL games it will be noticed and it will be unfair play by your opponent. Yeah, Newbie played his both games nicely. And I would say his first game against Zuli was even better than the game against Widow. Well, yeah, I can definitely say that RAGL is mostly um, a respectful league and full of people respecting each other. Probably that gets back to older times where most players just knew each other through the community and just used a new format of Red Alert Global League, which derived itself from European Red Alert Europe League, I think. Okay, so if no one jumps in, then I think I will jump in against Bane myself on this one. Just lose quickly and then move to the next map. Well, the only thing about unfair play I remember is that there was an issue in, I think it was in Fourth Season Minions, with some of the guys in Recruits Division that were foul-mouthing in chat, or maybe it was Season 5 actually. It was games for Acapella or Lakuta. I don't remember. But it involved some of the guys from team games who played in 1v1s and then was rude in chat, using some words and speaking as a spectator in global chat against players. So that's the only moment I probably can remember around. That's another game lasting Stanitsa for 40 minutes, that's interesting.
Battle control initialized.
Right, so snakes and ladders. You see it's small map, 3 mines combined on a single ore patch on the right here.
Building.
A single unconventional ore patch looking a lot like Stanitsa actually.
Complete. Reconstruction option training. Unit ready. Selected. Unit ready.
Hope it's not fast.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm ready and
no,
waiting.
Unit
fast.
ready.
A lot like Stanitsa, but
Unit ready.
further head to the middle
Unit ready.
than on Stanitsa.
Unit ready.
Stanitsa, or whatever.
Unit ready.
Then there is a natural for each player and a backyards mine additional of which we're
Unit
just
ready. Unit ready.
far enough from
Unit ready.
natural
Unit
for
ready.
it to not
Complete. New
obstruct
construction. Unit ready.
the build radius.
Unit ready. Building.
Okay, that was a nice catch.
Agreed. Waiting at once. Ready and wait. As you wish. Acknowledged. Waiting.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Acknowledged. Reporting. Very well. Reporting. Agreed. Ready and as you wish. Affirmative. Moving out. Affirmative. Moving out. Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Of course. Reporting. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Ready and waiting.
So,
Waiting as you wish.
what I
Construction
think
complete.
makes this map interesting is
Ready and very well.
the center patch. For mines, for oil derricks are
Structure captured.
grabbable,
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
and as you can see, the
Yes, sir.
farthest one
Awaiting orders.
also
Reporting
possible
at
to
once.
grab for both players.
Of course. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed. Awaiting orders. Of course.
Training. Training.
Ready and waiting.
Structure
As you
captured.
wish. Yes.
Unit ready.
At once.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit structure complete.
I'm sure I have
Lost.
pressed stop, I think.
Ready and at once.
Unit
Reporting
lost.
affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. New construction. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Ready.
Yeah, that was the right call to have an IPC.
Agreed.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Reporting.
lost.
Yes, sir. Yes. Moving out. Reporting.
Training. Construction ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Primary building selected. Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Waiting very well. Waiting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Ready and of course. Reporting. Vehicle report, sir. At once. Reporting.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Engineering. Affirmative. Waiting orders.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Selected. Unit ready. Unit lost.
Yeah, I'm
Unit
not
ready.
really playing
Lost.
exactly great again.
Lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Cancel. Training. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Agreed. We acknowledged. Waiting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. 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 Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Building. Unit complete. Unit lost. Building. Construction. Unit ready. Primary unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Alright,
Unit ready.
a nice catch. Guess I got one more
Structure
oil derrick here.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Waiting as you wish.
Unit ready. Primary building selected.
Reporting
Primary
SUV.
building. Base is under attack. Training. Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Let's see what's next.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit
Waiting
ready.
orders.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Ready.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Silos needed.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Yeah,
ready.
but I also
Building,
forgot
unit
to
ready.
produce any stuff.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction
Yes,
complete.
sir. Acknowledged.
Unit
Cannot
ready.
deploy
Deploy here.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Silos ready. Needed. Unit lost. Construction complete. Unit ready. New construction options.
Ready and affirmative.
Unit primary building selected. Primary building selected. Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. Base is under attack. Unit ready. Unit
Reporting
ready.
at once.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Of course.
Construction complete.
Comrade, affirmative.
Unit ready.
That was a nice
Unit
detection.
Unit
Scout
ready.
MCV.
Order.
Construction unit ready. Unit ready. Prepare.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Vehicle
Unit
acknowledged.
ready. Primary building
Ready
selected.
and agreed.
Unit lost. Unit prepared. Unit lost. Ready. Unit lost.
Waiting.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Unit lost. Unit construction. Unit construction. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Power. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Affirmative. Ready and waiting.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Low power. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Reporting.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Construction. Unit lost. Unit ready. Lost. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Waiting orders.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Construction. Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Waiting order
Unit
once.
ready. Primary construction complete. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Construction complete. Cannot deploy here.
Vehicle reporting.
Unit ready. Building. Unit construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Waiting order.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Construction. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Waiting.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Construction ready. Primary building ready. Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Ready and waiting.
Unit ready. Insufficient funds.
Ready and agreed. Report as you wish.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Waiting orders.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Affirmative. Comrade.
Construction ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit lost. Primary building selected. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Waiting orders. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Agreed.
Unit ready.
Comrade.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Insufficient funds. Unit ready.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Waiting.
Low
Acknowledged.
power. Unit lost.
Waiting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and very well.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Low power. Unit ready. Construction complete. Unit ready. Construction unit ready.
Very well. At once.
Primary building selected. Building. Insufficient funds. Unit
Alright,
lost.
that proxy base didn't work out for me. And I think I've wasted too much on the top side there. And probably that wasted infantry on the top, which got me a refinery, but wasn't enough. Um, Again, that's about this map, which not only the center patch is interesting on this one, but the corner patch, which sometimes works as a difference in this game, just because you're protecting this side, but there is just enough space to go around and attack this single mine.
Battle control terminated.
And of course, there are no real obstacles on the map, which makes it quite open, and it is a requirement for the map of this size. So that moves us to the next one, which is Fallout, made by Blackened, as I already said, which has exactly exactly 14 Easter eggs, which makes mentioning, or maybe 15, I don't remember that count.
Battle control
Makes
initialized.
mentioning Season 5 players. And Season 5 and current RAGL officials all around the map. This is as far as I'm going to give you suggestions on what to look here. And about this map, so this one has 4 oil derricks, mines, 4 mines on the start spawns. The top one for a right player might be slightly uncomfortable to get. Hopefully Blackened counted on that. And also it has this expansion opportunity with 3 one-mine patches, but rich ones. And then there is a 3-mine patch in this corner, but blocked by gems from spawning further. And if that's not enough, there are 7 oil derricks on the map. Yes, exactly 7. 2 in the middle, 1 on each bottom and right side, and 2 1 on those sides, and 1 in the corner. That's how it is. And seeing that, Bane decided to go with a strange tactic around, probably wanting to grab all the oil derricks, and that was not a good place for APC to unpack, because that's a single tile that you can use to approach the oil derrick that reach. Dragunov catched 2 occasional rifles, I think. And Bane is also very aggressive with his expansion. He got 1 refinery into War Factory, and now the most ever aggressive build of 4 trucks into an MCV. I think that was it. Oh, he's building a heavy tank. No, he's building an MCV. Dragunov is building a heavy tank. And I don't know whether Dragunov actually paid attention, but there are 7 oil derricks. And judging by Dragunov not having a single engineer, I can guess that he didn't pay enough attention for that. But at least those 2 heavy tanks might be a big surprise for Bane, who doesn't yet have a decent economy to outproduce his opponent at this stage. If only Dragunov used his heavy tanks properly. And now Bane will have use for his Tesla, you know. 3 heavy tanks. Well, exchanging those 3 and now 4 heavy tanks, so 3 heavy tanks and a lot of infantry on a single ore truck doesn't seem a good choice. However, exchanging that for a pack of infantry for that can be. And now Bane is trying to make way for his base push from a completely unexpected point of the map. And Dragunov just now realizes that. What I think about this map is that maybe this ore patch needs a slight tweak. Second thought, maybe not, just because the single building here, you can somewhat approach it, but you can't approach it properly with a single building on the left, right? Maybe this needs to be one tile closer to an MCV. Yeah, so probably been goofed around too much, going Omnum style of MCVs. Yeah, buy Noob Map Maker, also high Noob Map Maker, because I haven't properly greeted you on my stream. Unfortunately for Dragunov, he again wasted a lot of effort to try and go through a known for him fortified Tesla position. So probably he should have gone from the bottom. And yes, Bane has had a lot of oil derricks around the map. Yeah, maybe that's the reason.
Battle control terminated.
So, with that done, we have skimmed through all the RAGL maps. I don't know whether I want to play another one on Forgotten Plains, not, because I'm feeling rather tired already. So at least we got one game each on each map, combined with a previous stream of 4 maps. And at least you now know what to expect from RAGL Season 6. Because most of the games there of course depend on the maps they're playing on. Yeah, I think I'm ready to close off my stream right now. What's next? Next is hopefully trying to get as many players into RAGL as possible. Still hoping to get back some big names, but not many chances for that. And next there's going to be a qualification tournament on October 13th. Highly likely that it will be casted. And there is also a possibility that if there are not enough players for Masters and Minions divisions, then we just might allow more players into Minions, but that's still up for us to decide what we should do with those players registering for the first time, or recurrent players such as Circuit, for example. But we'll see. There is still a lot of time till that happens. So again, thanks you for watching. Go on and register for Red Alert Global League. Everyone, of course, is welcome, and we'll see you getting those games up. And see you next time.